So you've asked the question, how do we hang things from the tips of strings using physics and geometry nodes? And in this tutorial, I'm not only going to show you how to simulate a rope using physics and actually cloth simulation, but how to actually hang an object using geometry nodes with the correct position and rotation. So if this is interesting to you, keep watching. If this is not interesting to you, keep watching. This tutorial is brought to you by Squarespace, the best place to build a beautiful website. So here's what we're going to do. Delete everything, start off with a plane. This is going to be our rope. I'm going to select two vertices and delete them and then rotate this. So this is actually just the edge that's going to compose our rope or string. And the more we subdivide this, the more resolution we have for simulating. Take the top vertex, Control G to assign to a new group. And we're doing that because when we turn this into a cloth, it's just going to fall, right? Gravity's being applied everywhere. But if we now go to the shape and the pin group, we can apply this vertex group we just made, and it's actually going to be hanging from this point right here. What this means is I can add in a force field like turbulence or any other kind of field, make that a bit stronger, and now you can see there's some physics going on here. I'm going to increase the flow just so it's a bit more consistent. So there we have rope physics, and you could use wind or anything else. Now to hang something from the tip of this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use geometry nodes. So add a geonodes modifier, and let's actually also make an object that we want hung from it. So I'm going to use a Suzanne, and I'm going to make it so that the origin is at the top of the mesh. So right there, you can see the origin is right here. Once you have your mesh and your geometry nodes rope, go into geonodes, turn this into a curve, because right now we're just taking a mesh and deforming it using cloth physics. So mesh to curve is going to turn this moving thing into a curve. And the reason this is useful is now that it's a curve, we can sample it, meaning I can look at the factor where it's 0, which happens to be down here. As we go up, the factor goes to 1. But I can sample it down here and get the position, the tangent, the normal. This is all useful stuff. So what I can do is I can now join this with our object that we want hung from it. So that's going to be Suzanne. So I'm going to join this, and now just the name of the game is making this actually move with the rope. So first of all, I'm going to bring it down to scale, so Suzanne's a bit smaller. For the translation, all we have to do is take this position and put it right here. So now you can see it's hanging from the tip, but it doesn't have the right rotation. For the rotation, take the tangent, align Euler to vector. So that's going to take our tangent as a vector input, and it's going to turn it into rotation. And it's going to be one of these. So it's going to be Z. And you can see now this has the proper rotation and everything. The reason it looks weird is because our physics is weird. If I delete this, it should be hanging now. Or I think what happened is it's actually cached this. So I'm going to use a wind, rotate this, and let's increase the wind. So you can see it's going up, and now it's swinging like a pendulum, and it all looks accurate. So I'm going to turn this off, and then on and off. And look at that. That is how you pin an object to the tip of a rope and give it physics. Hopefully you learned something. So this tutorial is brought to you by Squarespace, the best place to build a beautiful website. And if you don't know what Squarespace is, you're in luck, because I'm here to tell you. It is basically a way to make a website without any of the coding knowledge, without any of the complicated stuff, although it's available. You have templates where you can just click and drag and move stuff around to build a website without any like UX, UI kind of experience. 3 features about Squarespace that you're going to love is 1, analytics, so you can see your demographic type information, who's going to your website. 2, you can embed your social media feed directly inside your website. So I embed my Twitter feed, for example, in my website, and that's easy to do. And 3, like I said before, this is just a process of moving around things in a template, these squares that make up the space. So if this is interesting to you, you can head over to Squarespace to build your website. And when you're ready to take that live, you can use my link in the description to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring.